I usually stay out of women's business, but I'm type excited about this one. It took a little bit to settle in, but it looks like there's a new hierarchy in the girl side of rap. And strangely enough, it is not the people who the blogs are telling you to listen to. Every day I get on Flo Millie's internet and tell y'all, don't fall for the marketing. And every day, y'all fall for the marketing. But not today. Some consumers nowadays are way more cognizant of what is being sold to them than the industry would like to give us credit for. And those people have very loud voices. And other people are just haters. So they go hand in hand. And when these two forces collide, we get exactly what is happening with the Doechii situation right now. Which may be an overcorrection, but I look at it as a step in the right direction. Let's talk about it. The kingmakers in the industry are trying to make a queen. She has everything that's necessary. Long career, documented history of being online, good enough music. They went and gave her the BBL, Darkson, everything's lining up. She should be the one. So why is it not working? I talked about this concept before in the fake it till you make it video. Success in the industry is just the right combination of talent, preparation, and being given the chance. Everybody at some point is given the chance. I think the issue that people are having is that she's being given a little bit too much in their eyes. I can't tell you what too much is, but we can talk about it. Alright, Nicki Minaj carved out her throne at a time where there wasn't too many people to fight for the crown. But now there's a fresh new crop of rappers. And now that she's all but retired, they are all fighting for the same crown. The competition is fierce, because on the lady side of hip-hop, the competition is not the same as on the men's. The sample size is much smaller, there's way more comparisons, the standards are higher. Everybody is being compared to Nicki. Whereas in male rap, it's a lot larger, there's a lot more leeway. You can just you can rap whatever you want, honestly.
Boom! Yo! God! The thing goes.
It's not even the artists themselves, but it's the fans. We're watching some of the most talented artists in the game rip each other limb from limb. When two large voices like Cardi B and Nicki Minaj clash, the entire music industry on the women's side gets split in half. Much like how it is right now for Kendrick and Drake. Problem there is, a JT or a Megan Thee Stallion, their market is very different from a Drake or Kendrick. In addition to some of the music not appealing to men in the same way that music made by men does, it's also divided across barb or body gang lines. So it makes sense why at times the numbers just don't add up in comparison. It's hard to get the crown nowadays. And so it makes complete sense why they're trying to make one up. Does Doechii deserve all the backlash she's getting? Who actually has the crown in hip hop right now for the ladies? Is there a need to crown somebody in general? Let's talk about it. I don't want to give up my sources in case his old boss is, watching or nothing. But I remember about 3 years ago, a friend of mine interned at TDE. And he told me they were lining Doechii up to be the next one. I'm thinking they're lining her up to be the next one for TDE. No, they're lining her up to be the fucking queen. But it does make sense with the amount of money that he said that they were spending at the time. The investment has to be recouped in one way, shape, or form. And I guess it's collection time. Industry does play the long game. I'm actually surprised to see it work out like this. Now, none of this means that she does not deserve to be where she is. Let's not get it confused or conflicted. First heard about her in that 2021, 2022 era of life, running around LA trying to get tapped in with everybody. And she's had talent since that day. I think the issue that we're having here is the bridge between talent and the amount of investment being put in from the label. Let's look at it somewhat objectively. Let's say we have artist one, had a 10-year career, slowly built a fan base step by step, eventually gets a hit song before signing, signs, and then the motion is put behind them. There's more than enough people who have been listening on a grand scale to combat the industry plant allegations because there was stardom before the signing. There were hit songs before the signing. There was motion before the label was involved. Now, take that exact same artist, but remove the success until after the label gets involved. You can see how it doesn't fare the same in the public perception. It's not a crazy thing to say. And the overt pushback from the industry does not make it any better in her case. And having label executives, influencers, and magazines hit back against people that notice that the amount of support that she's getting is unlike any other artist. Come on, gang. You don't have to lie. You just have to make it not a bad thing. Spin the conversation away from industry plant and turn it into developing artists. I think Brian from Audio Mac said it the best. If it feels inorganic, it's only because the industry rarely gives new artists the same level of backing anymore. That's a great way to spin it. It's not incorrect, it's very facts. But this level of backing at the level that she was at to start is the issue I think a lot of people are having. As a fan of artist development and a fan of taking a risk on artists, I love this button press. Usually, you only press the button after they've accomplished something great, like a Glorilla, a Sexy Red, a Lotto. There's a hit song out floating in the air, and you press the button to get them into superstardom. There was no songs floating before TDE started stroking that button. Pause. And what comes with the button makes it seem all the more artificial. Of course, the Grammys have never been the measuring bar for anything culture or even hits in any way, shape, or form. But a Grammy performance for an artist who's been, circulating in the mainstream for 2 years, and then giving that same artist Best Rap Album. For an album that was not talked about or streamed outside of Twitter propaganda and industry spaces. And to wrap it all up, 2025 Woman of the Year from Billboard. What's that? Rolling Stone, Billboard, Grammys, the unholy trinity of industry relationships. Not to mention all of the sampling to try to vie for a hit as soon as possible. The immediate marketing campaign after the Grammys to try to, capitalize on that. That's actually just good marketing. I can't really talk shit about that. But it all just feels inorganic, and people can talk about that without being, as Rolling Stone quotes, misogynistic and prejudiced. Oh my God. Not gonna lie, this is very reminiscent of the type of push that was given to Corday back in 2018, 2019. It's not at all that the skill isn't there. It's not at all that there's no ability to make good songs. It's that the fan base was not large enough. There wasn't enough tested, trusted music. At least not enough to start the type of run that we have right now. The level of money that was put in here does not reflect the level of artists that they were at when you put that money in. And so it comes off as inorganic. Could have just taken it a little bit slower. But I'm not the label. I'm just a guy with a microphone. Everybody has an opinion, and that don't make it valid. Okay, so we've seen who they're lining up for the crown. But who are the people who are in actual contention, at least right now in the mind of public opinion? Now, I don't know if you know this, but this is all opinion. So let's be guided here. Comparisons shouldn't really work here, but for the sake of argument, we're gonna do it anyway. We got Lotto, Meg, Flo Milli, Glorilla, and I Spice. Now, a couple of these names are not like the others, but we're gonna talk about that. Now, before we say where's Cardi, where's Nicki, come on now. Let's be guided. It's over.
Can I lie? Can I lie? Can I fucking lie?
I don't know if they know it's over. I don't know if you know it's over, but it's over. Let's sunset, find some new things to do. Let's go model. Let's build some businesses. In terms of who's doing the most in order to get the crown, it seems like Glorilla has got it. Hit after hit for the last couple years. Consistent, good personality, connects with men and women. Makes it hard to give it to anybody else. My sleeper pick, Lotto, only because it seems like she's trying to fill a Drake-sized hole in the market. And given the fact that she's younger, female, can play the same racial markets as Drake, can write similar songs, i.e. Georgia Peach, it's a possibility that we shouldn't count out. But for now, gotta give it the glow. Shout out to CMG, man. I did not know that he was gonna go up like this. Maybe it's time to have a conversation about rapper record labels and who's actually doing this shit the right way, or at least who it's working for. But in any case, we shouldn't detract from Doechii just because the rise is funded. Every rise is funded. It's just there's a little bit more money behind this one. I'm rooting for her the same way I root for Corday or anybody else who got the machine behind them. It's actually the same level of hard to do it this way, because now you still have to build the fan base and the expectations are insane, I believe. But honestly, who I really want to see, Flo Milli. Hopefully she pops that kid out and we get back right. Miss you, baby. Any case, that's enough what I think. What do you think?